All right, with that said, we're going to get into our topic tonight. Good evening, everybody. I'm glad to see all of you guys, a bright eye and bushy tail. This is leadership, and it's for leaders only. This young lady I asked to come on the call because she saw Miss Davis on June the 7th. We had on a call. She was not able to get on it because she's in the medical field. However, her upline, Mr. Harrison Mill, thought it'd be great. He sent it out to Miss Tommie Clark. She got so excited, saw a lady like her doing it. It motivated her, and she went out in 40 days. Daryl Ranson, listen up, 40 days, Rick K, and put in 200 points because she couldn't make listen to me. She couldn't make it, but she saw it and got her motivated. And because of that, Mr. Marvin Carter is climbing the charts to number 3, just because of that. So I'm here to tell you guys, there are Tommie Clarks in your city, your area, they'll be in your team, and you got to just take them under your wings and mentor them. So with that said, without further ado, she hails from Fresno, California. She's in the healthcare business, and she wants out bad. I hope she'll tell a story what motivated her one day at work. She said she got to get a way out of here. So I hope she tells that to start off with, and then go into how she got her 40 services. Without further ado, and she picked, watch this. She's so good, she picked out one service and went to town in that one service. Can you believe that? Without further ado, Miss Tommie Clark from Fresno, California. ETTL.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Thank you for taking out time to teach people like me, how to be successful in this business, and also how to be a leader in this business. But I really appreciate it. I know we all really appreciate it. So thank you. And thank you, secondly, for giving me the opportunity to share, because you didn't have to do that. And hopefully I can say something to encourage somebody. So yes, like as he said, I am in the medical field. I am a registered nurse. I serve in the area of infection control. Long story short, when COVID hit, it was like me being enlisted in the military, and I was front line and center, right? So yeah, as you know, we are still in COVID. And so before COVID, I was in ACN involved, and then that hit, I came up missing in action, right? And then so much time had went by, I didn't even realize that my payment wasn't being paid for ACN. And so I had to really like start all over. And so there's another goal of mine to be able to replace my income by a certain time in my life. And that time is coming up real fast here, right? And so I'm just like behind the gun here, I'm like behind in where I wanted to be right now. And so I was like, I need to get busy. So before I start how I got the customers, I like to share a little bit about some thoughts to myself and my mindset when I got started. So you may hear, I'm sure you've heard, those of you on the call heard Harrison say that really her mind was just made up. So my mind was made up. I just needed to figure out how to maximize the ACN's compensation plan and how to do it quick, right? So I referenced the comp plan and looked at the percentages and the services, and I knew to get 20%, I needed to get 200 customer points, right? So I looked at the services, and for that month, ID Seal was double points. It was 8 points. And so that's why I focused in on that one service, because I wanted to get to the 200 points quick. So I said to myself, I need 25 ID Seal customers. And so it was an urgency there because I need to be done quickly, because we know that we don't know how long the points is going to be double points, right? So before I got started, I took a little notes to myself and to get myself in line. And I said, like, time, don't waste it, right? Get rid of all distractions. This is just me talking to myself. I often say all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient, meaning you can do it, but do I have to do it right now, or is it going to be beneficial? And if it's not, don't waste your time with it. And then secondly, I told myself to resolve to do whatever is necessary, that I was going to have to make some sacrifices. I knew that. And thirdly, I said to stay true to myself and my purpose, that I knew what I wanted, and that I knew what I needed and why I needed it. And I told myself to write it down for clarity, know your numbers, know where you're at, both for short-term and your long-term goals. And so when I heard Miss Angie speak, or the video was sent to me, it was like just reiterating everything that I was telling myself. And it just fired me up, because at that particular time, I was really tired. I was tired from work, and that kind of just gave me a burst of energy. It was like, you know, you come home from work and you're really tired. And I actually wasn't feeling well at that time. I said, well, I wasn't feeling well, but I went to work, right? So I came home and I was like, after hearing that, I said, well, I'm not feeling well. I'm going to still work for me, right? So that was my attitude. And so a little bit more history about myself is that I saw this opportunity 23 years ago and got involved 23 years ago. But, you know, life kind of got in the way. That's another long story that I won't go into right now. But most of the customers that I have right now are familiar with ACN because they were involved years ago. And most of my customers are family members or long-term friends like 30 plus years. So with that being said, I don't have a problem with my belief in ACN. I know it works. You just need to get a good understanding and have some type of and have the same type of work ethic that you have put in for everything else that you've accomplished in your life, and just do the work. So I used the same script with everybody, right? So it's the basic script that I need you to do me a huge favor, right? A huge favor. And these people, like I said, was familiar with ACN. I told them that I rejoined ACN, and I was trying to position myself to gain the most out of ACN's compensation plan. And to do this, I needed 200 customer points. And I would tell them currently where I was at, right? And could I count on them to help me get there? And then I told them that I need them to sign up for IDCO's annual plan. And then I told them IDCO is identity theft protection. So this month is worth double points. So I'm in a hurry to get this done before next month. So again, these people are familiar with ACN, so they know that the points, you know, change. And then I also told them that although you are helping me, I will be helping you, because IDCO is a great service, something that everybody needs today in today's world. And it's both protection and restoration up to $1 million, right? Just to give them a little basic information about the service. And then, of course, they said yes, right? And so I took them to the website and walked them through the sign up process. So what I can say about that is that when I didn't do that, a couple of times I didn't do that, and the customer made mistakes, and then there's a big hang up. And, you know, if they don't have another email, you'll have problems trying to sign that person up. And so then I just really thanked them and appreciated their support. So with that being said, of course, I started off with 200. And as I'm doing this, I had the numbers written down, so I knew exactly where I was at, right? And so the first 20 points was myself, right? So I signed up for everything that I could. Some things I could not because of where I live. I live in a rural area, and so all the services are not available to me. So I signed up for what I could. So that was 20 points myself, right? So that brought me down to 180. Then the next 24 points were my kids. So that was really easy, right? That was simple. The next 8 points was my sister. She just did me the huge favor and fell right in line and did it. And the next customer was my best friend. Actually, I was calling her, but actually she signed her husband up, right? So a little story for that. So we together had went to Las Vegas for another girlfriend of ours wedding, and her husband lost his wallet, right? And so as soon as I asked her to do me the huge favor, she said, "Oh, shoot, girl, yes, please," right? So that was a easy easy customer right there, because I witnessed that. I was there for the frustration of him losing his wallet. So that was that was great. And then 2 weeks later, she called me back, and then she got a service herself. So another interesting thing about that is that I am a customer of hers. She sells life insurance, so I have 2 policies from her, right? And so she did me the favor and did 2 of these, 2 of the ID seals. So what I give her every month, I pay what she paid every month, pretty much, right? And so it was nothing for her to do that for me. Again, I said that I'm invested with these people, and so it was pretty easy for me to get them as a customer. So my next, that brought me down to 132 points that I needed. And my next customer was my niece, who lived in Atlanta. And at that time I was in Atlanta for another girlfriend of mine, graduation. She graduated with her PhD. And I've been knowing her, like I said, 30 years plus. And so I took a flight out there to support her in her graduation. So she'll come up later as me asking her to do me a favor. So while I was in Atlanta, I asked my my niece to support me, and of course she did. And then her significant other, her boyfriend, also did it as well. Now I had met him on an earlier trip, and I guess I made a well enough impression because we talked about all types of things, all business, and this is before I was in ACN, but we talked about business and a lot of career things, and I helped them a lot out when I was there. And so he didn't even hesitate to try to help me. So that was great. I really appreciated that he didn't have to do that. That was wonderful. Then next, that put me at 116 points needed. And so then I talked to another one of my sister and her husband. So we had just came back from a trip to Oklahoma because my grandmother passed away. And so we took a road trip. And so they knew that I was back in ACN. They too was involved with ACN with me years ago. And so I told them that I was gonna be asking them, to do me a favor. And so, because at that time they kind of like, put me off a little bit. And so not long after we got back home, I called them up and asked them to support me. Kind of put me off again, but I was persistent, right? I called them back again and asked them to do the favor. And I told them where I was at. I needed, I'm at 116 points from the 200 to make my goal. I really would appreciate you guys' support. And so they got in there, both of them did that for me, walked them through the process. And then that left me with 100 points remaining. And so the next 2 customers were the girlfriend of mine who graduated, right? So, we've been supporting each other for years, both her and her husband and her kids, really, but I've known both of them so long that before they were spouses, right? So when I came to her, I actually went to her house, right? I didn't call her on the phone. I went to her house. And then when I got there, I told them that I was there on a mission this time. And I asked them that I needed their help and I needed them to do me a huge favor, that I needed them both to sign up, right? They too were familiar with ACN. And so I gave them the spiel. I told them I'm down to 100 points. I'm halfway there. And I really appreciate you guys' support. And so they, of course, sure, sis. And so we got into took them to my website and they both signed up. And that was great. The next 4 customers are my godchildren. They're adults with careers and all that type of stuff. And so that was pretty easy too. That was like me signing up my kids, right? And so that was easy. They was, I'm really invested in their lives as well. And so when I asked them to do something for me for a change, they didn't hesitate. And so that was great. So signing them up brought me to needing 44 points. Now, this next friend of mine was actually my RD in ACN years ago. And so I had asked her before, this was my second time calling her. And so, I was like, I really, really, really could use your support. I know she knew everything because she was my RD, right? And she helped me get the RD at that time too, as well. So, she finally gave in and did it for me, and her husband did it as well. And so that was great. She actually had a little hang up with her, oh, so just in case this story can help somebody. So she was also my customer before I went on the sabbatical for COVID, right? And so, but she wasn't a customer anymore. And so when I tried to sign her up, I ran into problems because she was a previous customer of mine, right? And so when I tried to sign her up, they reinstated her up under my old IBO number. And so I had to go through the process in the back office and all that type of stuff to try to get her back to assigned to my new IBO number. And that took a long time. Well, it didn't take a long time, but longer than I wanted it to take, right? So that was interesting. The next two customers, so I'm down to 28 points. The next two customers were my cousins, my cousin and her husband. That was a true favorite because I don't really have a lot invested in with them. And so she just really was a true cousin and friend and really jumped in there to help me out. So that was like great of her. And then her husband was actually military and was working in Guam. And so she called him and to do me the favor and she had him go to the website and everything. So that took a little extra time because of the time frame. And so, but that was great. That was great. It's great. I really appreciated that. So I'm down to 12. The next customer is a friend of mine, real old friend of the family, who was always trying to get me into something, right? And so I've always, if I didn't join him in what he was doing, I was, supporting him as being a customer or whatever. And so he jumped in with both feet to help me. So I was appreciative to that. Then I had a nephew who did the same thing, just jumped in to help me right away because I'm always there. And so I was down to the last few points that I needed. And this person is actually a new friend of mine who I had mentioned to before and pretty much said no, right? So I called him back again and I said, look, I need 4. I'm down to the last 4 points. I really need your help, right? And so went through the whole spiel that I told you, the entire script, and went through it again. And he gave in and said he was supporting me. And so that gives me 212 points right there. So that's pretty much it.
Wow, let's give her a hand. 212 points, and that's it. Wow, we go back through here, and I think we've got a question or two. Somebody. Number 1, all ID seal customers. I'm going to highlight what I got. I got okay. Number 1, everybody, I'm going to regurgitate what she said. The first 20 points was herself. Now, I wonder how many people we bring in that's still not their own selves customer. Then number 2, she got 24 points from her kids. Next was her sister. Next was her best friend signed up, her and her husband. Man, I love that. Girl power. Got the influence over their husbands. I love it. And 2 weeks later, she got it for herself. Okay. Next customer was her niece who lived in Atlanta. She went down to graduate. She got her PhD. And not only did she sign her niece up, but signed the niece's boyfriend up. Man, I love this woman, Tommie Clark. Look at her. Next, her sister and her husband, they went to Oklahoma to a funeral, and they put it off again. And Miss Tommie Clark says, but she, being Tommie Clark, was persistent. You guys write that down. I took notes on everything she said here. Then the next two customers was a girlfriend of hers. And Miss Tommie Clark said she was on a mission to sign her up and get it done. Man, I love when a woman's on a mission. I love when anybody's on a mission. Then back down. I love it. Next 4 points came from her godchild. All right. Then the next, number 9, her RD from years ago in ACN. I need your support. That's all she said to her. I need your support. You know what I'm talking about. Not only did she sign up, but also her husband signed up to support Tommie Clark. I love it. Then the next point was, next 2 points was her cousin. Was her cousin and her husband. Woo, she's going after both. And he was in a military station, who knows where, in Guam. This woman was on a mission because of the time restraint. I don't care where he's at. I don't care if he's in Iraq, Euphrasia. Let's get him on the call. Man, that's powerful. Then the next customer was an old friend of the family. Y'all catch that? Who was always trying to get her into something. Dale Ranson, you know they always trying to get you into something. No, I got something for you this time. Man, I love it. Then the next customer was her nephew. Then the last 4 points we're holding out was what she said was then she talked to a new friend, and her new friend, he said no. He said what? Everybody say with me. He said what? No. Freddie Sherman, no. She said, I quote, I called him back. Woo, I love this woman. I called him back. And then she said this, I really, quote, well, write this down. I'm quoting her. I really need your help. When was the last time you told somebody you really need their help? TJ, I really need your help. Marvin Carter, I really need your help. Lance Kelly, I really need Miss Marla Black, I really need your help. Uh-oh, I think, wow, 212 points. I need your support. That's what she told her friend who was upline RD before. And a new friend, I really need your help. And then she said, number 7, I was on a mission. Oh my God. I had to call him back. Oh my God. She didn't let none stop her. In 40 days, 212 points. Can we give her a hand? Can we give her a hand? Can we give her a hand? All right, I tell you what, we got a few minutes left. I know Mr. Lance has got a question. TJ, is that you got a question too, TJ? All right, we're gonna go with the ladies first. TJ, real quick, keep it simple, and then Lance. Your phone's muted. You're muted, dear.
212 points means that you're boiling, girlie. You're boiling, and we love it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I wanted to say, I don't want me to keep it.
I can't hear you.
We can't hear you, dear.
I don't know what happened. You hear me now?
Barely.
Barely?
DJ, it sounds like your mic is covered.
It's not. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
A lot better.
Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, it's on a flat surface. Okay, so you heard the 212. The next thing I just wanted to say, this whole process for you, my dear, tells us who you are and how you are. Everybody wanted to do something for you because of how you invested in their lives. And it was a light bulb for me. And it has me asking myself, you know, how have I invested in others, etc. So thank you for sharing your story and your journey, because it really lets us know everybody wanted to help you because of who you are and how you are. So thanks for being wonderful like that. You're welcome. My one question is, how do they get an old IBO number mixed up? Did you enter it incorrectly, accidentally, or was somebody just not paying attention and went through your history?
No, because she was my previous customer, it's just reinstated her service.
Okay.
And so then it went back to my old number. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
TJ, thank you. That was TJ. Thank you. That was a really thoughtful thing you said, and it's true. And I wanted Miss Tommie Clark on tonight to talk about how she got every single customer, because I want you guys to understand you can do it as well. And I think TJ's light bulb went off because she had so much invested in people, they invested back into her. Thank you so much. Mr. Lance Woodberg, you had a question.
That's what I was actually going to point out with Mrs. Tommie Clark, because she's a fun, loving person. That smile, that laugh, is something you'll never forget. But people look at her as a dolphin, but she's really a shark before she's a dolphin. Kind of like a sharpin. She's like a sharpin, okay? And I wanted her to, because it's so funny.
So,
Tommie,
Mr.
can
Lance
you please
Woodberg,
talk to them?
you gonna match her? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, Mr. Thomas. Yes, yes, sir. Now, Tommie,
Yes,
Tommie,
sir.
can we talk for real? Can you give a script of exactly what you did? The posture you did. How'd you?
Well, you know me. You know me.
So
And these
they don't
people-
know you.
And these people know me, so my posture was my posture, right?
I understand that. Listen to me, please. Can you tell the people on the call how you spoke to your people?
Yeah, I need you to listen, girl. I need you to do me a huge favor.
And then that look.
You know the
That's
look,
it.
right?
That's being yourself, because you were invested into your people, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So in other words, what you're saying is because of who she is, you look at them like, come on now, come on, hey. Yeah, that's so important. And I don't know why a lot of us don't even have that posture and backbone to look at our friends like, look, when you're, and I've said this before, guys, in different ways. Hey, when your car broke down, who'd you call? You call Ghostbusters, you called me, I came out and gave you a hand. Now it's time to be my customer. Why is it so hard for you guys to say something like that to people? I wish if I'd have known, I should took this text message that I sent to this guy that you're not the guy I'm looking for. Y'all are too scared to say something like that to people. And once y'all do, your numbers will go up. And thank you for bringing that out, Mr. Lance, because sometimes it's, hey, you're my friend. Hey, you're my girlfriend, sign up. Hey, how long you been knowing me? Girl, sign that thing up. Yeah, why are y'all so scared of this stuff? It is what is real. So play whatever cards you got to play, but play it. Okay, who else had a card? Mr. Kush, did I say it correct? Yes, sir. You had a question?
Yes, sir. It's by the way, it's pronounced Kush.
Kush, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. First and foremost, thank you so much, Ms. Clark. That was so inspiring, and I love how you went after a lot of people who were former IBOs. And this says to me, first and foremost, I do have a question, but this says to me, I can go after a lot of the ex-IBOs in Toronto, where I live, or across North America, just approach them and say, hey, listen, in fact, even my former RVP, who's no longer in the business, I can approach him. And a few days ago, he even said, hey, wouldn't it be ironic if I rejoined ACN under you? So it just goes back to say, you know what? I can always go back to these people. My question, though, to you is, how did you, look, I'm sure there were a number of people that you hadn't spoken with in a long time. I'm in that boat with a lot of my friends. They see me on Facebook. They know I post about ACN, but I kind of feel like anytime that I would approach them, that maybe, okay, I'm not really, quote unquote, rekindling the relationship. I'm just asking for a service or a favor. How do you get past that? And what did you do to rekindle those relationships?
So thank you for the question, Kush. I didn't have that problem because when I say I'm really invested in these people, I talk to these people all the time. We keep in touch. You know, I'm getting ready to approach some of those persons that you're talking about. And so maybe we can have this conversation again later. but even with that, it's kind of like these people were involved with ACN before, and they may live across the country now, but when we do talk, it's like we never missed the beat, right? And so it's gonna be one of those conversations like I was just speaking with Mr. Lance about. It's like, hey girl, I need you to take a second look at this. I know it's, years later, but ACN is a different ACN now. And so even those people are my customers now, there were old IBOs, I'm gonna perform so well that I'm gonna get them back.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. I appreciate that. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great question, Kush. Belinda Batiste, you're up next, and then Mr. Harrison Mills. Your phone is on mute, dear.
Oh, I didn't have a question, Mr. Thomas. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mr. Harrison Mills.
Awesome. Hey, thank you. You probably already mentioned this already, but I want to say I so appreciate you and just your energy and what you give. My question is, what is the plan moving forward? Now that we got the 212, what's the plan?
Team building, sweetie. Team building. Oh yeah, and the people that don't join the team is gonna be a customer.
Man, I love it. I love it. I love it. Man, this has been such a great call. And when I called her, I asked her, I said, will you break down each customer that you got, each one, what was said, who they are, and just give us a good look at it so you all could feel, hey, I could do what she just did. Hey, I'm comfortable with this. I can do this. And some of you have people you haven't talked to in a while. And I think Mr. Cush was bringing that to the forefront. Hold on, let me get over here. You know, one of the things I would suggest you do, you know, I've done this, especially beginning of the year. I call people and say, look, I got a new way of doing things this year. When I think about somebody, I'm going to call them to say hello. I know we haven't talked in 2 or 3 years, but I've got a new way of looking at life now. When I think of somebody this year, my New Year's resolution is when I think of you, I'm going to call you, just say hi. Just call and say hi. Now you may call 3 or 4 days later. Hey, by the way, I forgot something. I want to talk, you know, but it's just warming up that old relationship. I thought about you, and I've done this a lot. I didn't want nothing. I just thought about you. Just want to call and say hi. And you'd be surprised how that conversation will go into. So, Kush, what are you doing? What are you know? Tell me. And then guess what? When you talk, guess what? And then it's time for them to reciprocate. So it's a wonderful way of doing it. I just think about you. I got a new thing I started this year. When somebody's on my mind, I call and say hi. I don't want nothing. How you doing? What's going on with you? And then let them reciprocate. I'm telling you, that's a great way to do it, sir. Anybody else had a question for our guest speaker, Ms. Tommie Clark, today? This has been very
Can I say one more thing real quick about Harrison? I just want to thank Harrison so much because, you know, I'm at work, and so he makes sure I stay in the loop with things and shares everything with me and everything. So I really, 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 really appreciate him and the encouragement that he gives me. It's a lot of love. We've been knowing each other for years.
Yeah.
Appreciate
and
it.
that's why it's important, is what she said, building a team. Folks, how do you build a team? You call them up every couple of days just to see how they're doing. That's why I send out a text message Monday through Friday to keep people in the loop. You know, to reach, what's that song by Diana Ross? Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Reach out and touch your organization. People don't, look, you got to make it more than that. It's got to be a family type of thing. It's got to be a love on people, you know? I mean, I remember the gays. I used to go to Fresno, Rose Guerrero and Chris King. They'd have everybody over, loving on everybody. You know, they'd do barbecue, whatever they just did, just keep people in the loop. You know, that's how you build a strong organization. You know, Miss Diane Collins is over there in Australia, just banging out customers and being locked down. She's banging out more customers. That's, she's on the top list of top 13, 11. I mean, just, you know, just staying focused and just going and doing the extra mile. That's all she did. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fantastic training, and I just wanted her to share, because one thing that changed her life is when Mr. Harrison Mills sent June 7th a podcast over to her, the link over to her with Miss Angelina Davis. That just got her, that just fired her up. And that's why I say a lot of times, depending upon who the speaker is, send these out to people on your team. Some of them are at work. Hey, you be the leader. Send it out to them. Leaders lead by thinking ahead. I mean, Marvin Carter, I'm so proud of him. You know, him and his group, you know, Mr. Lance did do it, and Miss Marcia Carter and so many. They get together on Monday nights. They made phone calls, and I had no idea Kathleen Williams started doing this. I mean, it's just wonderful. That's what a leader does. A leader step up to the plate and make sure everybody's organization get the right information and make sure they're in the loop. So with that said, I want to thank everybody in the call.